Up Network. Your city, your podcast.
To the delight of this crowd, McClendon marches down the dugout steps with first base.
McCutcheon's throw. The runner breaks to the plate. Here's the throw. Wow. He is out. The Buccos win. That ball's hit well to left center field. Back toward the track. And that ball is gone.
You are listening to the North Shore 9 podcast. Follow them on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. Also, make sure to watch NS9 Live every Thursday on Twitch and help support by becoming a patron. Let's go Bucks!
Yo, yo, yo. Welcome to Starbucks. I'm your host, Anthony DiNardo. With me, Jim Rosati. Jim, happy Monday. How you doing?
I'm doing great. It is early, though.
What's that?
It's early, but I'm doing great.
It is early. I couldn't get to sleep last night, and I don't know why. I couldn't get to sleep, and like once I was in the bed, I couldn't go to sleep.
I was the same way. I couldn't fall asleep. Once I went to bed, I just laid there.
Yeah.
Maybe it was just because I was so excited about the recent call-ups.
That's probably what it was. Think about it. Now, I mean,
it's
you had the same problem I did.
You know how on Christmas night, kid, hard to go to sleep, all that stuff.
Yes, of course.
That could be kind of what it was last night.
So Roansy Contreras is our Nintendo 64, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Precisely.
Or maybe Yerry De Los Santos.
He's Griffey.
Yeah.
Or GoldenEye. One of the two is good enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can get with that. Because I could not go to sleep. I was wide awake. I think I went to bed at 2.
That was about me too. It was about 2. So, I'm running on less than 5 hours of sleep. Because again, I didn't actually go to sleep at 2. I went to bed at 2.
Same.
Didn't go to sleep at 2. I recently, I don't know why I just now got around to it, but I just now downloaded the latest Out of the Park game.
Yeah.
Right. So I was playing that all night. And I'm in the midst of a Pirates rebuild, obviously.
Well, let me critique you.
What I can tell you, it's 2023 now. Still not good.
Great. Good to know. Makes me happy about next year also. Because you know what? I can probably tell you that in real life, right? The 2023 Pirates is not going too well either. Just based off of 2022 Pirates. Because this team sucks. This team is terrible. It is atrocious. It's pretty much all I got to say about that.
I think I saw someone, I forget who it was. I want to give them credit, but I forget. But someone said the Pirates are on pace for the least amount of runs scored over a season for them since 1919.
I don't doubt it. That seems reasonable. But then you think about how bad these teams were the past few years. And it still seems reasonable.
At the same time, you look at the run differential now. They are way last in the league now. They're at minus 88 run differential. The Reds are the next closest team, and they're 24 runs better.
And remember a few weeks ago when we were trolling the Reds about how terrible the Reds were? And it's what? The saving grace in the season right now at least is that we get to watch the Pirates face the Reds. Yep. That's where we're at right now.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the standings go, the Pirates are not the worst team. They're better than the Cubs. No, they're the same as the Cubs.
Nope.
But they're better than the Reds, better than the Nationals, better than the Royals, better than the Tigers, right? But when it comes to run differential, Pirates are dead last, and no one else is close.
Now, granted, I'm not the biggest believer in run differential. It's a stat. It has some weight to it. It's not the end all be all by all means, but also in the same sentence, the Pirates did have a game that you attended, Jim, where they scored 0 runs and the Cubs scored 21 or 22.
It was 21.
21.
And it would have been 0 runs yesterday if the Cardinals hadn't put in a position player.
To be fair, yes, it would have. And to be fair, the Pirates did as well and gave up 4s also. So it broke even.
Yeah. Sure.
But with that said, does that count toward all that shit that we give Yoshi, right? With no home runs, he had the 1 home run this season. Do we count that now? Like, do we say, oh, well, Yoshi has 2 home runs now on the season?
Yeah, I guess it counts. But yeah, one of Yoshi's 2 home runs is against Yadier Molina. So that tells you how it's going for him.
And then to be fair, Jack Sawinski's 1 other home run came from Yadier Molina as well.
Yep.
Good for him though. Good for you, Jack. You capitalized on it. You gotta, listen. Yep. You got to call up. You had a home run in Wrigley, right? The field, the city you grew up in, right? The team you fall in love with originally. And then you follow that up with a home run off of a Hall of Famer. So what a start to his career. That's not often you get a home run off a Hall of Fame player.
Yeah, so he's up to 4 home runs. That's like 3rd on this team, I feel like.
But anyways, this team is awful. It's awful. Listen, I'm not going to go too deep. We've had our critiques on NS9 Live Thursday, right? Well, I should say Friday it came out. So I got a lot of my criticism out. I'm not going to go too much deeper into it. Though Josh Van Meter 2 more starts in this series. I just don't understand it. Josh Van Meter 2 more starts. Not appearances, not times in the lineup. 2 more starts. Vogelbach, Cerro.
So Vogelbach was apparently banged up.
Okay.
Why he didn't play.
He
was available to pinch hit. He was available to pinch hit, but they didn't want him playing a full game. That's what Sheldon said. So I guess I understand that. He probably got banged up from the triple. He hit the triple and then he needed a few days to recover.
He was still out of breath.
It's like me in softball. Once I play a softball game, I can't do anything the next day. Right. I'm so sore.
That's why he couldn't even complete the run to home plate and the tag up. He just stopped 3/4 of the way there.
Yeah. That might be what it's from. But no, you look at this team now, and especially now that Roberto Perez is out for the year, if you continue this lineup, it's bad. It is not good at all. Brian Hayes is playing well, above average hitting wise this year, which is good. I will say another error though for Hayes yesterday, kind of crazy. I'm not worried. Not worried about Hayes.
So not worried, whatsoever. But is that concerning? Are we at the
definitely
it's April 27th? Brian Reynolds concerned at all?
No, not concerned whatsoever. Not concerned whatsoever. Okay. Reynolds hopefully heating up a little bit. He's got his weighted runs created plus back above 100. But again, it needs to be better. It's just this lineup. It's so bad. It's so bad. Chavis is on fire again. But again, I think you don't want to play Chavis. People are saying play Chavis every day, and I get that. You might as well at this point. But I think that also might expose him. He's not the best against righties. He's really good against lefties. You probably want to pick and choose his starts instead of putting him out there every day, because I don't think he is an everyday player. Ben Gamel is going to provide you a quality roster. But you look at this lineup and 5 through 9, every day. 5 through 9 is just bad. Like they can pretty much put together a solid 1, 2, 3, 4. After that,
but don't worry,
nothing.
Jim. Don't worry. Now, you got banged up a little bit already, again, but Kevin Newman is on the way. So, we're going to be okay. But thing is, you're right. You're just absolutely right. Like it's top heavy, and it's not as if like the top heavy is elite. It's great. I mean, we're talking about a guy who's been struggling all year in Brian Reynolds. We're talking about a guy who, if he gets it in the air, he can hit his first home run in Cabrian Hayes. I mean, yes, you're excited about Cabrian Hayes. Like you have Brian Reynolds, but like they have their faults too as far as the lineup goes. Like Daniel Vogelbach is a complete surprise in what he's doing. Chavis, we were gunning on why is he going to make the roster coming out of spring with how awful he looked. And I'm with you too. So one thing I want to say about Chavis, I believe in the end, he's exactly what you said. And if he can be that also, by the way, if he can be that person, that was a huge win on that trade. I mean, for Austin Bryce, that's huge. If Chavis can just become that, right? So I want to put that out there. But I do believe that would be the case for him. However, I'm going on like the Will Crow effect here. I'm going to give him every opportunity to prove me that he is. I'm going to let him play against righties all the time. I mean, Derek Shelton disagrees to an extent because Josh Van Meter needs to be in the lineup. But I am giving Michael Chavis like every opportunity. I'm treating him like an everyday player until it's July, until it's August. And now, I mean, he's showing me like he just can't be that because we're almost into June already. And he's got a 131 rated run created plus. I mean, he's looking really good. There's no reason to not play him. So I'm going to give him every opportunity to prove to me that that is what he is. And then we'll go ahead and continue to play him as such into the future. So that's where I stand. So,
no, that makes
and
sense.
this lineup, I mean, it's starving. Like, it needs players. So, like, oh, he's not good on righties. Okay, well, who is? So put him in there.
Yeah, I'm good with that. He's better against righties than Josh Van Meter.
Correct. Actually, yes, he is. Yes, you are.
He is.
Yes.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure because I thought I looked that up yesterday just to confirm something. But I mean, it's not that difficult to. Like, if Josh Van Meter's the bar, the answer is always yes.
Yeah, I'm good with that. I'm also like, I'd like to see them go back to playing 3 outfielders. I think there were too many times last week where, we saw Diego Castillo out there. When was it? On Saturday? The Cardinals scored a run on that sacrifice fly.
Yep.
And it was
It's
200. It went 209 feet. Actually, no, it was yesterday. It was early in the game. So I think it was early. Yesterday's game was so long. First off, it was long, like in amount of time. I remember looking at my watch and it was the top of the second inning with nobody out. And the game was like an hour into it. Like, so Bryce Wilson did us no favors there. Yeah. Like, why are we, I don't understand this fascination with like, and we talked about it last week, like playing players out of their position. Like we're seeing Ben Gamble take grounders at first base. We're throwing Diego Castillo in right field because we need to apparently get Josh Van Meter into the lineup, or whatever. Rodolfo Castro is playing shortstop too, and he's not a shortstop. He doesn't play shortstop. I don't understand why. I don't understand why Rodolfo Castro is our shortstop. So like, this team is just, it's bad on like every facet of the game. They can't hit, they can't pitch, they can't field. And the fielding part, I feel like could be solved if you just like actually played players where they're good.
It's all self-imposed.
Yeah.
Which again, just boggles me. That was the one thing that it's not like they were good. It's not as if Ben Cherington put together a fantastic defensive team like the past 2 years, but it's like the guys that he brought in, you could say the bats were terrible, but you saw defense behind it, and it made sense. Like the defense going to help the pitching. Like Ben Cherington seemed to make a point that he's going to improve the defense. And this year, they're just sabotaging it.
Yeah, I don't get it. And like I said, if you're playing like both Castillo and Castro, like why don't you play the guy at shortstop who's played shortstop? Doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And Castro, I think Castro's like 40 innings in the minors. It's something like he plays there like if he has to. Yeah, minor league shortstops. Okay, he's got more than that. But in the past few years, it hasn't been a lot. Like in Altoona last year, he played 4 games at shortstop. In Indy, he played 3. This year, he's played 5 games at shortstop. He's played more games at shortstop in the majors this year than he's played in the minors the last 2 years combined.
So can I ask you something? And I know the answer. I mean, this is clearly rhetorical, right? Because it's a question from me coming out. So how come every player on this Pirates major league team can play a position for the first time and learn it at the major league level, and we can have this atrocious defense all around? However, your top prospect has to stay in AAA because they need to learn a new position. I just don't get it. Again, like, and that was the reason he's there. You can argue now that he doesn't deserve the call because of his performance, because of his batting average, because of how he looks today. But on April 9th or whatever, actually before then, whatever date it was, they actually sent him down and gave you that story about how he has to learn the outfield and they work on things. How come we can do this for every other player at the major league level? And on the same sense, how come every other major leaguer pitching, a major league pitcher, can pitch 3 innings, but Contreras can't?
Well, I was just about to tell you, the reason why Cruz is down there is the same reason why Contreras had to go down to get stretched out. Yeah,
exactly. And we're well past that date as well, that both of them can be here.
We're past the date both of them can be here to not accumulate a full year of service time. We are not past the date of the Super 2 yet. We're also not past the date where you call up O'Neill Cruz and he goes off and he can still win Rookie of the Year. And then you're screwed anyways.
Well,
we're not past that date.
That date is again, it sucks because it's just money. It's just that the years are fine now. The years are locked. It's just during those years they could be cheaper now for Cruz and Contreras. And it goes now to the fact that you're kind of rooting against your player. Like you don't want him to get Rookie of the Year if you call him up. So the safe thing to do is just go ahead and just keep him down there so he doesn't give that opportunity. That's
yeah. I think they're like waiting a little. Like they need Seiya Suzuki probably to get a little bit stronger hold. Again. That's what they're waiting for. There's once Seiya goes off a little bit, then they'll feel comfortable calling up Cruz.
Well, it's still 2. You need who's the second guy?
That's true. Then and well, Contreras is already called up. Or it's top 2.
So Suzuki's 1. So who's the second guy that's going to slide in and be in the top 2 for Rookie of the Year voting to take Cruz out? I mean, the AL it's stacked, so I can understand if we were in the AL, that'd be no problem. But for the NL, it's not as stacked. Oh, Mackenzie Gore's tearing it up.
Mackenzie Gore, Joey Bart. I'm not sure how he's doing. He's doing okay.
Yeah,
but Nolan Gorman maybe. We're watching the Cardinals, a team that we're hoping to catch up today.
That's right.
And they call up all of their fun prospects this weekend. That was fun. Seeing Matthew Liberatore make his debut, seeing Nolan Gorman make his debut, and then see like 7 different relief pitchers that just all throw 103. They're all like 23 years old.
Pirates couldn't figure
it out. And then the guy who comes in yesterday and throws 5 scoreless innings against us, he's a 24-year-old. not even on any of their prospect lists. He just comes up randomly and just shuts us down.
After a 4-pitch outing for Matt, so plenty of time for prep.
I think this is kind of like what I'm like mostly worried about, though. Is like you look at the rebuild and you're like, okay, we're sucking right now. The goal is that we're going to be good down the road. But then you look at a team like the Cardinals and you look at the talent that they already have.
Mm-hmm.
And we won't talk about the guys that are going to retire. Like they're going to be gone, right? But like you look at the rest of that team, a lot of young guys, a lot of good young guys. And then it just seems like every single player, like if they ever need somebody, there's just someone there that they can call up and he comes up and he gets the job done. Like it's just, it pains me because I hate them so much, but like, are the St. Louis Cardinals the best run organization in Major League Baseball?
Yes.
They have to be, right? They're just every year after year, churn out homegrown talent. And at the same time, like they can spend some money, right? But they're not the Dodgers or the Yankees or the Mets, right?
Right.
You know, they're maybe above average when it comes to like a market, or maybe average. But like they're just so good at developing talent that when they need somebody, there's someone there. There's someone there who's ready to play and they can get plugged in. And so like I'm talking about this rebuild, like, all right, one day I think we can, you know, you start piecing together like what this team could look like. And then you look at the Cardinals and you're like, how are we ever going to be this good? Like, how are we ever going to be better than the Cardinals? That's my question. Because I don't see it on the horizon at all.
Yeah. I'm not there yet to a point the Cardinals will be better than the Pirates, but it's fair to say. And that is because what you just stated has been happening for years. It's not as if like lately the Cardinals are churning out these players. I mean, they are like the New England Patriots, more or less. You know, like next guy up. And he performs and he becomes a star, and that's just the Cardinals. So like you said, like the best run team, I mean, you look at the Patriots, I mean, maybe it was more Tom Brady than we thought, who knows, whatever. But regardless, like in that whole tenure of Brady Belichick, I mean, that team was just always good, and it didn't matter who was there and on the team, right? So that's like the Cardinals. I mean, sure, they have a few stars they bring in here and there, but for the most part, it's just like these guys that you never heard of, right? They come up with the prospects, they perform. And it's always against the Pirates, you know, and then shout out to Hammer and Hank. He's on Twitter. He's like, does every team call up the rookie against the Pirates like on purpose? And I feel like that might be it. Like they just pencil in like, here's the Pirates. So that's the date we'll call you guys up, because what a better start to your career than a guaranteed high note, especially when it comes to the pitching. Like I feel like that's been the Pirates' MO. The rookie pitcher comes up. Yeah. The Pirates can't figure him out. I mean, I know they got to Liberatore a little bit, but that seems to be the MO. Yeah. So, but again, like back to the Cardinals and comparing, I'm not ready to go there yet. And this isn't the show for it. It's probably going to be maybe Thursday show or sometime coming up, because this past Thursday's kind of leaded to it too. But like, there's definitely concerns about this rebuild. There absolutely is concerns about this rebuild. My biggest one this offseason was the fact that the Cubs have just basically not rebuilt. I mean, I know they're not good, but they've went out there. They got some free agents. They're building, right? And you could see the Cubs leap the Pirates in terms of rebuilding, right? Become good again quicker. The Cardinals you mentioned are still just there. Like the Brewers are still good. So what is going to become of the Pirates in 2-3 years from now? Don't know. But we'll get there. We'll get there. Let's focus today on this, the big start to the rebuild, which is this probably is going to be Contreras' stay. We know he got called up, few some innings, sent back down. At this point, there's probably no reason to send him back down unless it's to like limit innings, right? Not to manipulate service too much in that sense, but like a true reason of sending him down. He should be here to stay. Does that sound fair?
I think that's fair. I could see a situation where like they have a set amount of innings in mind, like you mentioned, that they want him to pitch this year, and if he hits it, then that's kind of where he gets sent down. But no, I mean they're calling him up right now because one, they need a starting pitcher. Like they need one bad. And he's earned it. I mean, he's you could argue he's the best pitcher in the organization right now, and he hasn't been on the major league team. So let's give him a chance here. So we've been clamoring for time. We're saying, how many times do we have to sit through these starts from terrible players, while Roansy is just cooking in AAA, getting extended, whatever that means, right? Because our starters up here only go 1 inning and 2/3, so like who cares? Yeah, so I'm excited. He's getting the call. I don't know when like the actual roster move will be made, because I think he just pitched
Tuesday.
So
Tuesday there's a TBA, and Tuesday would be next scheduled start apparently.
Okay, so Tuesday is when he'll get his start then. Yeah, I mean, I'm excited. We've been clamoring for him for a while. They're finally calling him up. He absolutely deserves to be on the team, absolutely deserves to be in the starting rotation, and I want to see him start. Those will be much more interesting games to watch than piggybacking Dylan Peters with Zach Thompson, or seeing Bryce Wilson go out there and start again for the 8th time, and him just not be able to miss bats whatsoever.
Well,
so
yeah, he can't miss
all
bats.
for it.
Right. And I'll put this, like, yes, for the fans, this will be very, very exciting, because not only is this like injection of some of the youth, right, the prospects, which you want to see.
It's like the first one. Like, this is like the first guy who's arriving, right? I mean, if you look at, like, we saw Diego Castillo come up, but like Diego Castillo isn't who we were all looking to take over a position or anything, right? Like it's like if Diego could turn into a serviceable major leaguer and be a good utility guy, cool. That's his ceiling, right? We're talking about like impact players who can be an integral part of the next good Pirates team. Contreras is that first guy who is arriving.
Yep. Yeah, that's a good way of putting it. Like, this is the first guy. This is the guy who comes from the Tyone trade. I mean, I guess technically speaking, in like the window from when Cherington started, you could say Brian Hayes was the first, since he was like the first Uber prospect. But that's like also like a Huntington guy. This is also like the first Cherington guy as well. Like, this is Cherington's like stamp on the organization. Like, this came from the Tyone trade. Here's Roansy Contreras. Let's see what he has. And we've seen so far, like every check mark's been, every box has been checked, right? Through the minors, even his little stint in the majors, like, it's looked good so far. So this is the first injection of like this rebuild, right? This churning of the roster. And so, yes, it's exciting for the fans for that sense. It's also exciting because this is like the first starting pitcher that probably should be competent. That's the floor. We're not saying that this is going to be like an exciting starting pitcher. We're just saying like this one is going to actually be competent. He's going to be able to start games. That's enough for us to just be content with.
I mean, and I don't think Contreras is someone who will be like an ace type pitcher. If you're thinking like aces, like legit aces, I still don't think Contreras is that guy. But like you mentioned, someone like Jameson Taillon, right? Like Jameson Taillon is probably a really solid number 2 to number 3 major league starter, right? Like I feel like that's what Contreras could be. And to this team doesn't even have any competent number 5 starters, really, for what I'm, as far as I'm concerned. Quintana, maybe. That's it. It's gonna be a big improvement. Like someone that you can hopefully like rely on to go out there and give you some innings and give you a chance to win baseball games, game after game. That's what we're excited to see here. Again, I know like a lot of people are like he's going to be an ace. I don't think he's like an ace guy, but he has a chance to be pretty good.
And the one thing too, you can argue ace, ace, ace. Like that term gets thrown around so much, right? Like this guy an ace? Is this guy an ace? Is this guy an ace? Here's the thing. It's the Pittsburgh Pirates. You know what I just want? You know what this team needs? Quality arms. Like, can he be good? I don't care if he's an ace at this point in time. If he's not, we can have the argument. Like, can he actually be a good quality arm? Because as we talked about this last show Thursday, like this team needs quality pitching, and the farm looks pretty bare in that sense. So if he can give you, I don't care if you call him a number 1, a number 2, even number 3, like can he be good? That's the start. Like that's where we need to start on this club. So that's what this team's going to see. So like again, like as a fan perspective, you're excited, but also like as the players go, and even God, like the bullpen. Think about the bullpen right now. Seeing Contreras come up, like now 40% of your rotation should be competent. And again, that's the bar. 2 out of the 5 starts, you're looking back if you're in the bullpen, right? And saying like, hey, you know what? Maybe these guys could probably go 4 and 5. Hell, maybe 6. Maybe we'll see a 7-inning start, right? Yeah. The other 3 we're working our ass off for. But like for at least 2 starts out of the 5, we can kind of sit back and look like a normal Major League Baseball team. We might win, probably not going to win the games, but regardless, like I can kind of sit back and be normal in that sense. So like as the team too, like it's kind of exciting for the players.
Oh yeah. I mean, I can't imagine it's fun for the players. I mean, I know it's not fun for the players because I've been a part of games like that in my life. And it's not fun to be out there first off in the field when your pitcher is just getting shelled, and you're losing 18-0, right? That's not fun.
No.
As far as the bullpen goes, yeah, they probably would rather not pitch 7 innings a game or 6 innings a game. If they can pitch 3 or 4 there, that would be great. And all of a sudden, once that happens, your bullpen becomes good.
Right.
That's the other thing too. Like the less your bullpen pitches, the better they're going to be. The more your bullpen pitches, the worse they're going to be. So yeah, limit the amount of bullpen innings. And like you said, this is now another competent starter. It would be awesome if he just comes out right away and just guns a-blazing and he's just amazing. He's 22, so like just kind of give him some time. But yeah, he should be good, and you should expect him to be good. Because in my opinion, he is the best pitcher in this organization. Desperately need him on this major league team.
And like in a little bit of time, we were just talking about being good and such. Like in a little bit of time, when you consider AAA and the time in the majors, I mean he's looked the part. At least you can say that. It's still to determine. It's all small sample. At the end of the year, he could have a 4+ ERA or something. But like he has looked the part. So I'm hopeful on that. And right, like it would be really nice if he did come up, like you said, guns a-blazing, just looking like a very good starting pitcher, which I think he's capable of. And I will say this, like this team's so bad, right? And starting pitching is so bad that it might work in his favor too. That is like if he has some struggles, it's still going to look so much better than other players that it looks and appears good. So
that's
like
true.
That could
That's
go
true.
in his favor. Like he has a 5-inning outing, gives up 4 earned runs, and you're saying, well, he went 5 innings. Like that was a pretty good start.
Yeah, no, that's actually true. Like he kind of can afford to go through a little bit of growing pains and still look better than everybody else.
Right. So there you go.
Yeah, no, I'm excited to see him. If Tuesday's that first start, I've got softball Tuesday, but hopefully I can try to figure out a way to catch some of that. Yeah, because again, like the other thing about this team, and I was talking, I keep forgetting who I'm having these conversations with, but somebody on Twitter was like, it's not necessarily that this team's bad, it's that they're boring. Like if they were bad and at least like interesting, I wouldn't feel just like just terrible watching them and miserable. So hopefully Contreras can at least start shifting that to, yeah, they're still going to be bad, but at least here's an interesting player to watch. Because right now, like, we don't have that. Like, there's a couple at bats that you want to see, but like when it's Yoshi, Van Meter, and Michael Perez due up the next inning, like I'm cool with just like, yeah, I'm cool with just like, let's maybe do the dishes or something.
Do the dishes. Yeah. I guess I get that. It's not that they're bad, but not interesting. I mean, ultimately, bad's just bad. You don't want to watch it. I don't know what makes bad interesting also, because like Mitch Keller was supposed to be interesting too, and he's been bad, and like he was bad, and you didn't enjoy those performances, even though when I guess you could say it was interesting. But the thing is,
well, I guess so. That's but that's the thing. Like, you were still interested in like what Mitch Keller would do. So I mean, you're more in tune to a Mitch Keller start, I feel like, than you are a Bryce Wilson start.
Yeah, and maybe it's just, I guess, the verbiage. So for me, it's just a difference. But regardless, like, I'm not really. If these guys are bad, like, I'm not interested in them. But I'm more focused on what they're doing. Josh Vander, I could care less. He sucks, and he's going to suck. And here's the thing too, like listen, I pick on that person a lot, and I said why, but I can't play baseball. I suck. So I just want to put it out there. Like, it takes one to know one, so I can say that. I can say that about Josh Van Meter because I suck. Okay? So I have all the reasons and the credentials that say that Josh Van Meter sucks at baseball as well. All right?
You know what it's like.
Yes. Okay. So I just want to put it out there when I get questions. So he's terrible. So I don't have to focus on him. Like you said, when he's that bad, I can go wash the dishes. But if O'Neill Cruz is up here, and even if he was batting 160 at the time, I'm still going to watch because I want to see the outcome. So I guess, I might not be interested if he's bad all year long, but I'm still going to focus on it. So I guess that's good. And again, that comes down to Ben Cherington. Like, he's flooded this major league team with talentless players. And that's why we're here. And you don't have to be here. You could have just not done that. But he did.
Yeah, they could have maybe signed another outfielder or signed a middle infielder.
And for the people that say that too, like,
gotten another pitcher.
Who would you have signed? The thing is, literally anybody. Because someone as terrible, right, as Jake Marisnick, look what he's done to this team. Like, look how he's benefited. And he's not a good player. But Jake Marisnick on this team, you talk about him every time he's out there. Just because he's a competent outfielder. Like, we're talking about the pitching. Just because he can go 5 innings, you're talking about a pitcher. And just because this guy can play the outfield position, you're talking about him. So the people that will say, like, well, who would you have signed then? Well, honestly, literally anybody. Because that person would have made this team better at first base, or a corner outfielder, or in the bullpen, or in the starting rotation. Because, again, that person who sucked and wasn't that good all this time is Jose Quintana. Like, you look at him, he's a cheap signing, whatever, and look what he's doing. So really anybody was good enough for me.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the two people they went outside the organization to bring in this offseason, and who they actually like spent dollars on. Not a lot of dollars, but some dollars. They have Vogelbach and Quintana, and both of those guys have made this team significantly better.
To be fair, although holistically it still wasn't, the move was incomplete. They also spent money and did bring in Roberto Perez, and Perez time was good. The incomplete part was he's just been a guy who's played, I think, more than 79 games once in his career, injured. So the incomplete part is you didn't also provide insurance with that by signing another competent catcher.
Right.
But regardless, I'll give, at least during his time, Perez was performing well enough.
Yeah. He wasn't hitting great, but he was providing good defense, good value for out of the catching position. Mm-hmm. But no, so I forgot about Perez just because he's hurt. But yeah, so those 3 guys, Perez, Quintana, Vogelbach. I mean, if you're looking at like overall WAR as a team, Perez still ranks second among hitters in WAR. Vogelbach is fifth, despite having huge negative value defensively because he's a DH only. And then Quintana's been the best pitcher on the team. So where would this team be if they hadn't gotten those guys? They'd be so much worse. So again, just that's all you need to do. Pick up a couple other just people who are competent major leaguers, and this team isn't as terrible. They're actually better.
And again, you also didn't have to do we're setting that's the low bar. You
that's
also
the
have
low
to
bar.
just do that.
Yeah,
you could get a CJ Cron for 2 years, $14.5 million, and he could give you really, really good offense. Opposed to, and the thing about this, I was on board with signing, Yoshi back. Totally on board because I was intrigued, and at $4 million, who cares?
I was too.
And it worked out that Daniel Vogelbach, offensively, is doing well. But the thing is, you ended up signing 2 DHs, and that's why you have Yoshi just playing terrible defense, and then it didn't work out for him, obviously, off the bat. So, you sign Daniel Vogelbach wasn't the correct signing, though that's the one that worked out, and not Yoshi. You should have also just signed an actual real first baseman and put Yoshi at the DH where he belonged, and that would have been CJ Cron. And thing is, I know Vogelbach's working out in that sense, but CJ Cron's way better than Vogelbach right now, and it could have been Yoshi and Cron, and you're looking pretty good right now offensively.
I don't know if you're looking pretty good.
Oh, okay, no, I meant in that sense with Cron.
You're doing better. Yeah, you're doing better. Right. Okay. No, I get you.
Not as a whole. Sorry, not as a team.
Yeah. No, I get it. It's frustrating. It's real frustrating. We all knew what we were going into when it came to this rebuild, but I think again, just going back to it, they didn't have to be terrible this year. They didn't have to be.
They could have just been not good.
They could have even been good. If they actually went out there and they put together a $90 million payroll, which they're certainly capable of, they have a chance to be good with a $90 million payroll, and they're just not. They're not. They're bad. They're bad. They chose to be bad. They didn't have to be this bad, but they chose to, and now we're seeing it, and they're kind of becoming a laughing stock again, how people were all laughing at the Reds earlier this year. People are laughing at the Pirates. I mean, they
back.
It was 18-0 yesterday. I saw a bunch of blue check marks on Twitter posting screenshots of the score and laughing at them. And and then you have the Cardinals pitching Yadier Molina against them while they have a lead. That's the ultimate. That's the ultimate embarrassment. You're losing to a team, and then they put in their catcher to pitch against you because you're losing by so much that they don't even feel like you're worthy of them throwing a pitcher on the mound. That's how bad and embarrassing you are.
Now, that's becoming a real MLB issue.
I understand,
but I digress.
Well, the real MLB issue is that there's too many teams who are completely fine with being shitty.
Right. And
the Pirates
the fact
are
that
a
the position
culprit.
player pitching is being celebrated the way it is, that's a problem. I get it. And at first it was a unique thing, and it's something that's kind of cool. Oh my God, this position player. But now it happens so often, and again, it's not a good thing that it's happening. It's really an embarrassment, and the fact that it's happening so often is kind of embarrassing for the league because of what you just stated. I mean, you don't see,
it would be in the
if
end,
the Lakers had the third string, the number 12 guy in at halftime. That's bad. That's not good.
But he's still a basketball player.
Well, I know that's the closest I'm thinking. Okay, so if
I'm thinking
if the Steelers had the punter in at quarterback,
That's what I'm talking about. So like if you have the Steelers are either losing or winning by so much that they feel like it's not even worth their time to put a quarterback out there. Instead, they're like, you know what? Let's just have fun. Let's put Cam Hayward at quarterback. We'll have the big guy run around. You can throw a few passes. Everybody will have a good time, right?
Right.
That's what it's like. That's what it's like. It's like, hey, you aren't even worth my time to throw out someone who this is his job. Like,
Yep.
we're going to let someone else do it who isn't even that. And it's just going to be funny for everybody because you suck so bad.
And the thing is, it happens on a weekly basis now. Like, that's not good for the NFL. That's not good. So that's where we're at. So anyways, we'll move on from that part, but right. Yeah. Let's just move on completely. Like, okay, so let's move on to Yerry De Los Santos. So he's also coming up.
Yerry De Los Santos.
Let's talk about him, because as much as Roansy is going to help the bullpen, we actually also have some bullpen help here. So maybe some competent pitching on the way, both ends. So Yerry De Los Santos coming up as well, having a fantastic start. He was a guy that we debated. I know you were definitely on board. I think I was kind of hesitant, on which way to go, but protecting on the 40-man. I think he was one that you protected, right? That you said yes to?
I don't know if I protected him, but I definitely brought his name up in that, like, we need to think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Because we've all seen the first people picked in Rule 5 drafts are just talented relief pitchers because they're kind of easy to stow away, right? So yeah, I debated that, De Los Santos was a guy who deserved to be protected over the offseason. But I mean, really, so this is probably a guy that a lot of people who Roansy Contreras is. He's pitched in the majors. You watch his starts on, the highlights of his starts. But Yerry De Los Santos, you probably don't know as much about, right? I mean, he's a relief pitcher. Like, he's been a reliever since 2017 in the minors.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at every step of the way, he's performed well. He's spent a lot of time in rookie ball. He was I believe he is signed out of the Dominican. Yeah, right. But as far as results go, very solid numbers in AA, very solid numbers in AAA. Fastball slider guy. So just kind of your typical righty reliever. He's going to come at you with like 95 on the fastball, and then he's going to have the slider there as kind of like his wipeout pitch. So both pitches are pretty solid as far as like they're being graded. He is an okay strikeout guy. Strikes out at least a batter an inning throughout his minor league career. Yeah, I'm interested to see him. I haven't necessarily watched him a lot. Like, I've seen like clips here and there of him, but not really someone who, like, he's a relief pitcher, so it's not like must watch television or anything. But I feel like he's someone who can help out this team. Like I said, he's had success at every level. And then the other thing too, I think I mentioned it before we got on live here, is homegrown international signing, which we don't see these guys from the pitching position pan out very often. I think Edgar Santana was like the first one of this century that we had. And I don't know if we've had another one. So De Los Santos might be number 2 when it comes to international pitching signings that have made the majors with the Pirates. I can't think of anybody else other than Edgar Santana, unless we're talking about like Neverauskas and people like that. Yeah, Yerry De Los Santos. I'm interested because this bullpen definitely needs some help. I'm curious to see what the move is here, because there's going to have to be a 40-man roster decision, and then obviously an active roster decision, and then they have to actually trim the roster by another 2 people here soon. So there's going to be some cuts made, and so now it's just there's definitely a lot of candidates.
So I'm with you in the sense too, like, he's a relief pitcher. This isn't like Roansy, right? And I get it. But I'm certainly excited for the fact that he's having a really good year. You know, like you said, he's had a good, solid career in the minors so far. And he's also right now coming up after having a very, very good start to his 2022 AAA season. So like right now, 1.72 ERA, 15.2 innings pitched. He's striking out 11 and a half batters per nine, only walking 1.15. You know, like all the numbers are there. And again, we're talking about a Pirates bullpen that is just awful. So there's something you brought up before the show too, and maybe we can kind of semi-discuss it right now. But like with him sliding up, like where does he fit in this bullpen then? So I mean, obviously we have David Bednar, who's the shutdown, just ultimate reliever. Like he's the guy in this bullpen, right? You have Will Crow, who's like that multi-innings guy. You got Peters as like that multi-innings guy. So I guess Stratton's like next in line as you're looking at like, you know, high leverage, late innings. Does De Los Santos like just slide in like right there? Is it like Bednar, Stratton, De Los Santos now?
I mean, I always think it's probably a good idea to start off relievers in like low leverage situations to kind of get their feet wet in the majors and then ease them into higher leverage situations. Like I don't know if you want to have his major league debut be in the eighth inning against, you know, the 4, 5, 6 hitters in a lineup, right?
Sure. Which again, that would be like Bednar or Stratton, basically.
Yeah, but I mean, the opportunity is certainly there for De Los Santos to seize to be a top 3 reliever in this bullpen. I mean, the opportunity is there because right now, like you mentioned, it's Bednar and Stratton. Keith Hembry was supposed to be that third guy. He ain't that guy.
No,
not that guy.
You might be the guy that decisions, you know, made to get him on the team.
Yeah. So Hembry's not that guy. So yeah, like I said, opportunities there. So I guess that's the good thing about a team like this is you have the opportunity. If he can come up and he can perform, then he gets that spot. Like he becomes that late inning higher leverage guy. I want to see him probably 2 or 3 times before we make that decision, but
sure. And it seems like that's something that they pretty much do, you know, like you said, like most of the time they ease them in. So I can see that, but realistically speaking, like once he gets his feet wet, I couldn't see any reason that he can't be, not so much also just because he's so good, which he is good right now, but it's like the Roansy effect. Like you could just be okay and you stand out, and he could just be okay. He's like the third best option in that sense. By the way, I just want to shout out Ethan. Corrected us. Ethan's always here for the news and updates. Dario Agrizal. He was also a homegrown pitcher.
Dario Agrizal. Okay.
So, yep. So De Los Santos would be third then in that list.
Okay.
Forgot about
even at 8 a.m. Ethan's fact checking. Man. Okay, so I forgot about Agrizal.
Same.
He was very memorable. So must be why I forgot about him.
Yeah, he was one of those interesting players too.
Honestly, if they Agrizal would probably be the third best starter on this team.
Yeah. Again, that doesn't mean anything. Bucko Mike would be the third best starter on this team.
All right, but back to De Los Santos.
Yes.
I think what's actually interesting about De Los Santos, I think he was a minor league free agent this year, and Ethan would know this one. And the Pirates actually had to like re-sign him as a minor league free agent. So they had to actually give him another deal. Like his original minor league deal ran out, which is why I don't think he was technically Rule 5 eligible.
Gotcha.
Well, I guess he became Rule 5 eligible after the minor league deal. Yeah. But yeah, he was a minor league free agent. So it was one of those things where like if they didn't put him on the 40-man, he was a free agent. And then they re-signed him as a minor league free agent. So there we go. That was nice. That's my Yerry De Los Santos story. But yeah, he's performed at every level up to this point. I'm curious to see how he does. I feel like this is something that we don't see often as Pirates fans, like relief pitching prospects. It's just something that like the team really doesn't do. And I'm not like the relief pitching prospects are like the lowest on the totem pole, right? When it comes to prospects. But I feel like for the most part, as long as I can remember, relievers have typically come from either outside the organization, they make a trade for them, or they convert a starter to a reliever, or they sign free agents, or they pick up guys off the waiver wire, things like that. That's how this team has typically pieced together a bullpen. We haven't really seen too many like relief prospects make their way through the system. So he's been one, and he's been good. So let's see if he can just kind of continue that into the majors.
You bring up a good point now that you say that, because I can't think, because you're right. I mean, that was Neil Huntington's MO. Like, he just pieced together bullpens, so that's part of it. And I think it comes down to the same guy we talked about was like the last reliever, Edgar Santana, like as a prospect. Was he like the last guy that I can think of?
Like the last guy who you like called up or who was a reliever.
Right. Neverauskas, maybe?
Yeah. I guess like
it's the guy that we just brought up originally.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, you look at the current bullpen, I don't think there's anybody on the current bullpen who fits that mold.
I'm sure there's a few here snuck in that weren't memorable. Though. But right, like for the most part, every reliever was like a reliever. Like the Pirates haven't had too many of like you're going to be a reliever and that's your calling. It's like you said, they've been starters and then they've converted.
Yeah. Whereas a team like the Cardinals, right? I feel like they just constantly call up relief pitching prospects, and they all throw 103, 102. They just grow on trees apparently. I feel like that's how they've done their bullpen, so it's interesting. It's interesting.
Yeah, good point. But anyways, so we have Contreras, we have De Los Santos coming up. So some relief for the team. Hopefully it'll provide some good performances to help out the club in that sense. Good for the fans because like you said, we're getting the first taste of like this churning of the roster, the rebuild, the first of the players to come up here. And to stay again, hopefully. Like this isn't just like Contreras coming up to give us a few starts and go back down. Like this should be his time to stay. With that said, I know we'll be cutting here shortly. But on top of these two, there's also been some really good performances. So just mention Oneil Cruz has been playing a lot better recently, especially yesterday. Also, give credit's due. Mason Martin has been performing. There's certainly holes in the positions that they play, and both positions that you want to consider Oneil Cruz for, outfield or shortstop. Right. So, like, is the time coming soon? I know we kind of talked about Cruz earlier, so maybe like focus more on Mason Martin. Like, what's your take on Martin? Is the time coming for him? Or should it be coming for him, I should say?
Yeah. I think I am on board right now fully with let's see Mason Martin at first and let's see Oneil Cruz at shortstop. Like I'm fully aboard that train right now.
I'm with you. I know this was brought up in like a Spaces earlier, which was maybe now like 3 weeks ago since it's May 23rd. So yeah, I think it was like brought up 3 weeks ago. And at that point I was like, no, like pump the brakes a little bit. Mason Martin's having a good start, but still very limited plate appearances. And, Yoshi's been bad, but also very limited, like let's let Yoshi play out a bit. Let's find out. I mean, I'm not going to give him 3 weeks and say you're out of here. Let's give him some sample size, see what it is. At this point, we're kind of seeing what Yoshi is. Let's, again, not count that home run yesterday. It was a gift. If you go before that home run, it's been bad. And you brought it multiple times, and I'm not sure if right now it stands, which, again, because that home run. But his slugging was worse than Cole Tucker's, right? That was your big keynote the other day.
Yeah.
That's not good. Not from the power hitting first baseman that you thought you were signing.
Kai Tom had a higher slugging last year than Yoshi has this year.
Yeah, there you go. So I am now at that point. I'm now at that point where Mason Martin has had long enough in the minors. He still has a bit of the strikeout issue. I still have concerns, but I'm willing to find out. I can say that I don't believe he's going to, but it's not me stopping and saying he can't go to the majors. I will gladly eat my words if he turns out to be good. This team needs him to be good, let's be honest. So I'm now at the point, though, where he's had long enough in the minors. There's nothing to answer at first base in the majors right now. Because, again, you're not putting Vogelbach there. He's a bad defender. Again, it's telling that the Pirates have said, Yoshi, you're going to play first base. He's the best. So I'm at the point, too. Yeah, let's make the decision. Yoshi's not it. This is the third team now you're finding out. He had a very nice stretch with the Pirates last year. It's very intriguing. I was willing to buy into it and find out for $4 million, right? Let's see if there's some legitimacy to this. It's not there. So let's make the move. Call up Mason Martin. Find out now what Mason Martin has. And
Well,
this,
again,
and
it
I'm
just
saying this
goes-
too. I want to stress. I'm sorry. I want to stress that I said this on Twitter a few times already. I don't want to. You don't make moves like this for the fans. I'm not calling up here because his team's so bad and let's just see Mason. There's an actual fundamental baseball reason. He's, to me, now has had enough. He kind of is what he is. There's still development in the majors. So let's put him in the majors for actual baseball reasons, not just to give fans something to watch.
Yeah. And to kind of say the same thing, Ben Cherington just doubled down again yesterday on his whole, if you're in AAA, you're not a prospect thing, right? So if you're in AAA and you're performing, you have an opportunity to help the team. And right now, Mason Martin's in AAA and he's performing.
Mm-hmm.
And not only is he performing in AAA, but the guy who's playing first base in the majors is not. He's not performing. So you have a situation here where you've got a major league first baseman who is underperforming and really just not playing an acceptable form of the position. It's what Yoshi is doing right now. You cannot function as a major league team with a first baseman like that. And be even just a bad team. You can't have a first baseman do what Yoshi's doing. That's plain and simple. And then you have Mason Martin in AAA who's performing. He's performing well. Yes, he still has his holes, right? We know about his fault, and his major fault is the strikeouts, right? It's just going to happen. If Mason Martin gets another 100 plate appearances in AAA, is he all of a sudden going to fix his strikeout issue that he's had his entire minor league career? No, that's who he is. He's a guy who strikes out a lot, but when he hits the ball goes far. That's it. That's who he is, right? So why don't we go ahead and say, hey, Mason Martin, you've done everything you can do in the minors, which I wholeheartedly believe he has. There's nothing that Mason Martin is going to prove, over the next 3 months or whatever in AAA that we don't already know. We know who Mason Martin is. Elite power, contact issue. That's who he is. Not going to change. Now let's just see if that can translate to the major league level. Will that play? Right? Let's find out. Because he's done everything so far. You can ask from him from a does he deserve it standpoint. He's sitting at 100 and quick math, 183 AAA plate appearances. 183 AAA plate appearances. Has 11 home runs. So he's homering once every 4 games in AAA, right, over his AAA career. He led the minor leagues in home runs in 2019, which was which would kind of put him on everybody's radar there. the guy has shown his power. So like, let's go ahead and say, all right, you have nothing else to prove in the minors. Let's see if this translates to the majors and if you can have success here. Because we have an opportunity for you. Like, first base is open right now. There's no one there doing anything. Let's give you a shot. That's where I'm at right now with Mason Martin. I don't really think having him stay in AAA any longer does him any good. I think at this point, like, he is who he is. That's not going to change. He's not all of a sudden going to fix his strikeout issue. He's going to strike out. Like, we just need to accept that. It's just a matter of, let's find out now if the power plays well enough that we can deal with the strikeouts. And this is the year that you like. Do you want to find this out next year when it's like, all right, guys, we're going to hope all these prospects hit at the same time and we're going to call them all up and we're going to be good, right? Let's not find this out. Let's not find out if Mason Martin sucks next year. Let's find out if he sucks right now, because the team sucks. So you might as well say, okay, do we have something in Mason Martin or do we not? And then you can make a decision next offseason when you actually want to put together a good team. All right, do we have our first baseman? Is it Mason Martin? Do we roll with him? Or do we need to go outside the organization to find a first baseman? Like, that's why, like, make these decisions now. And we've got now, 100? We got 100 more games this year. Play Mason Martin at first base.
Oh, dear Lord. There's 100 more games this year. Everything you said, though, it's right. I can't really add too much more value to what you said, but you're right. I just feel the same thing. We know he is what he is. There's definitely concerns about his profile. He's improved upon it a bit in AAA. Like, you would think, like, going from AA to AAA, maybe it gets exposed a little more, and it's been a bit actually better than it was last year. But it's still, like, in line. Like, it's still not like there's this tremendous improvement. Now he's not like a big strikeout guy. So you would expect too, like, when he goes to majors, there probably will be a jump. But right, like, how much is the give and take? Is he still a productive player with the strikeouts? How much does he get exposed? Let's see it. Again, like you said, he's in AAA now. He's had long enough for the whole MO of Charrington's whole tenure here, right? The development leagues is the AA. Once you're in AAA, you're ready. Well, he's been in AAA. He's been performing well in AAA. So it's time. It's time. And the time is because he is still performing. And now I'm at the point, too, where I'm ready to give up on Yoshi. It's been long enough. It just ain't there. So let's make it happen. All right. So I hope Mason Martin comes up here soon. And obviously O'Neal Cruz. So, all right.
Yeah, I mean, we've talked about O'Neal Cruz, I think, enough.
Yeah.
I don't spend any time on him, but
right.
Yeah, hopefully those two guys are next, because the team has positions for them. Like, the major league team could utilize both of those players.
And then there goes
and instead
Tucker. There goes Josh Van Meter. We're finally through with them.
And instead, you've got Indianapolis Indians Twitter account trolling the Pirates, posting O'Neal Cruz, Mason Martin home runs, exit velos, little picture of O'Neal Cruz checking his watch while he's rounding the base. Like,
right. That might not be the graphic for our show right now.
Right. Yeah. Like, come on, guys. Let's get with it.
Right. All right. Well, we'll wrap up here. But yes, O'Neal is not here. However, Roansy is. Let's take that for a win and enjoy it. Be something to be positive about. If that's the key word we want to use right now, right? Be positive about the Pirates. They're giving us something to be positive about. So let's take it. We can be miserable about the other 28 players on the team.
There you go.
All right. Let's get out of here then. We'll wrap up. We'll see you guys later. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
See you guys.